Neil, hi. Welcome to the Linnworks case study session. Great to have you here. For the audience, Neil Boxall from NB Sports and Elite. Neil is one of our early adopters, so a lot of time and a lot of respect for and a lot of love for Neil. He joined us in the early days. Neil, I'm going to pass it over to you if you wouldn't mind giving a brief intro about yourself.
Sure. I started around March 2012. I was originally selling little plastic golf tees out of my spare bedroom. That took off. Yeah, that sort of took off and did pretty good. So expanded that out into other golf accessories and applied sort of the knowledge I'd learned early on with eBay and replicated that out into other product areas. The golf went pretty good. So again, replicate that out into multiple different sports. We now do around 20 to 25 different sports, obviously multiple product areas within each sport, mainly focusing on the sort of consumable accessory side, things that people purchase, regularly, easy in, easy out, makes it nice and easy for the warehouse as well, which is always good.
How's the new warehouse coming, by the way?
Yeah, should be moving. It's going to be April, May. We've got no exact date yet. They're still finishing some bits off in it, but it's not far off now, which is good.
Nice.
So from spare bedroom, which was March 2012, sort of quickly realised that I'm going to need some more space after packing that out, packing the lounge out as well with products. We got our first unit in December of that year. And just sort of carried on from there, expanding out all different areas, improving sort of knowledge on eBay, because when I started this business, that was the first I'd kind of used eBay really. I'd bought a few bits and bobs over the years, but never done any business on there. But previous to starting this, I was doing business consultancy, basically helping other businesses out with how to run their business, how to streamline things. So it was kind of a logical step to then sort of do it myself, really.
True.
Yeah, so we did that. Yeah, got into the first unit. We were in there for about three and a half years, and then we moved into a bigger one because we outgrew that, which is where we're currently on now. And we are just outgrowing this one now, so we are moving into 2 new units in the next couple of months.
Fantastic. Yeah. You've really experienced then the growth of e-commerce and the variations and new marketplaces coming. How's that journey been for you? Or has it been predominantly eBay where you focused?
Mainly eBay. So we've got 3 eBay stores because we do obviously do the sports one, which was our initial where we started. Then after that, in the town where I live, there was a pet shop, and that pet shop closed, so there was nothing in the area. So I thought, well, I'll have a look into the pet industry and pet suppliers and see if I can apply my knowledge that I've learned with sports and how to sell them, and apply that to the pet side and see if there was a worthwhile market there to explore. And turns out there was. So we started a pet division, and that quite quickly grew. Applied the same sort of things that we did with the sports division, and within probably 12 to 18 months we had the pet division up to the same sort of level of turnover as the sports division as well. So that running tandem quite nicely. Hence why we now need a bigger warehouse as well.
Fantastic. Brilliant.
Yeah, and then about 18 months ago, I've got a friend who's a very good florist, and she's very good at making the flowers and doing everything else, but obviously the business side of it and online and everything else isn't her forte. So we sort of I'd look into that as well, and we ended up setting up an artificial funeral tribute business on the side, which has again quickly grew to, I think we're now probably like the 2nd largest in the UK for artificial funeral tributes. In the space of 18 months. And that's going pretty quick. So we're obviously on eBay and Etsy with that. We're just in the middle of getting a website done for it as well. which will then link into all social media channels, and obviously start pushing that as well.
Oh, that's brilliant. One thing which has always had a keen interest for me in your business is that you don't rely on Amazon, and that kind of breaks the trend from other sellers, where Amazon isn't your primary marketplace. It just goes to show that people following the herd narrative, they don't really need to. There are other opportunities out there.
Yeah, I mean, we did look at Amazon and we did dabble in it a little bit, which there's just so many hoops to jump through and constant, things you're doing wrong technically. You're spending a lot more time firefighting than actually growing your business. Is what we found. I'm not saying we'll never go back onto Amazon. It's something we're sort of looking at, and we may do it in the future. But yeah, we're good on eBay. It's what we've known sort of growing. We are looking at expanding out onto different channels and creating new websites this year to push the business forward, and utilizing social media and things like that. But no, we've never relied on Amazon at all.
With 3 successful businesses under your belt and thousands of SKUs, Linnworks, you've chosen Linnworks as your inventory partner. How's that journey been? How long have you been with them now?
Wow. So started March 2012. The first year we used like a small piece of software. I think it was called Packing Partner or something, very basic, generic. It pulled the orders and give us the names, addresses, and what the products were, and that was basically it. So obviously quite quickly become aware we needed something a bit more robust and more feature rich to allow us to not only handle the orders coming in, but also to future proof us and allow us to grow without too much pain. Hence obviously, like, that would have been about 11 years ago now, so it was only about a year after we started.
Wow. Okay. So you were one of the early adopters with Linnworks as well.
Yeah, so it'd been about 2013. Mid 2013, I would say we started with Linnworks.
Yes, it's really
obviously started with their desktop version before obviously they went on to cloud. It's been good. Obviously, they've back then when we were doing the research.
Would you say Linnworks is now
Sorry.
Yeah, no, right. No, I was just going to say Linnworks is very much part of your day-to-day now, is it?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it runs pretty much everything for us. Obviously, we use Linnworks and obviously now WhatSales plugged in with that integration live now. That obviously works nicely and helps us a lot. So that's really good, and obviously something we can help you guys improve the features with, and get the best out of most systems, which would be really good.
I think it nicely brings us on to WhatSales now, but just before I do, Neil, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the evolving landscape of e-commerce pre and post COVID. How have you noticed the change? Has there been a change? Has it been positive, negative? What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's a pretty broad ranging kind of question. We could probably spend about 2 hours on that, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's changed massively. I think post COVID, especially, customers are now looking for a lot more. They expect a lot more from the customer experience, from in terms of customer interaction, in terms of experience on site, in terms of your delivery. I think expectation on everything has jumped up a big level with what the customer expects from you, which means you have to work harder and find the right systems that can help you streamline and be able to achieve the things that you need to get and keep the customers, really. So that's definitely post COVID. That's been quite a big thing, I think.
Have you noticed going in line with inflation, have your cost prices for your goods gone up considerably?
Yeah, I'd imagine one of our biggest challenges during COVID, especially, supplier pricing changing constantly. So like we could have one supplier change during COVID when everything was a bit obviously mad. Like some suppliers were changing their prices 4 or 5 times in 6 months. So obviously we have to react to that to try and keep on top of all. When you've got thousands of SKUs, it's a lot to keep on top of to try and make sure that we're still making the correct margin, obviously to pay our overheads.
Of course.
So that was definitely a challenging period, as well as obviously we were one of the lucky ones during that. That obviously we do sports, so the sports and fitness side was encouraged, outdoor during COVID, and obviously the pet supplies one, people still had to look after their animals. So we were quite lucky during that we actually had quite an uptick during COVID. But obviously that also gave us a lot of challenges with suppliers, supply chains. Keeping on top of pricing was a mammoth task. So yeah, there was a lot going on for those, especially that first sort of 6, 7, 8 months when it first came in. It was there was a lot. There was a lot of long days.
I guess that now brings us firmly into WhatSales. How important then is, Neil, staying on top of profitability?
I mean, it's massive. Otherwise, you just end up spending hours and hours and doing God knows how much amount of work. If you don't know what margin you're making on products or orders, sort of what's the point, really? You're just working blind. So WhatSales has been game changer really in that respect, allowing us a lot more granular level detail on products, on product groups, all sorts of things like being able to get the fees in from the channels as well, and see that on a per order basis is very, very handy. And to be able to do that in pretty much near real time as well, it allows you to react quickly if something comes up which is not what you were expecting. So yeah, I think it's a cracking piece of software, and it's definitely something that's going to help us moving forward. Thank
you so much for that. No, you've hit all the nails on the head. When I was a seller myself a couple of years back, these are exactly the challenges I was having. Cost prices changing, logistic prices changing, marketplace fees changing, state market taxes, and clawback tax. God knows what. You never knew, or I couldn't keep track of. Am I actually making anything? It's fine seeing 5, 6, 7 figures coming in every month, but when you're spending 5, 6, 7 figures in fees and costs and whatnot, you start to wonder, why am I doing all of this?
Yeah, and then just when you think you've got on top of everything and you think you've sorted everything out, 3 or 4 more other changes come in, then you basically have to start all over again. Absolutely. So obviously trying to find ways to automate and streamline that as much as possible, or give you the detail that you need at your fingertips to enable you to make those decisions and changes quickly, which is obviously what WhatSales does, is massive.
How has product performance, keeping a track of sales trends on product groups, has that helped you in your business, which is a feature set within WhatSales? Has that helped you grow your business or understand profitability better? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely helps to be able to, so we can narrow down to a specific SKU or to a specific variation group that we use on eBay on a listing, and being able to narrow down to the different quantities on that specific listing and seeing which ones are selling more than others, or maybe certain different colors are selling better than others, or different sizes. To be able to see that again, that granular detail, it allows us not only to maybe adjust pricing for ones that aren't selling as quick, or just even adjust pricing up for ones that are more popular, or even looking at discontinuing products that are maybe within that group, but maybe it's not worth stocking a certain color, things like that. So again, it allows us to streamline the business, save on costs. So we're not stocking a lot of wasted inventory, and we can use that in other areas to allow us to grow more. So yeah, it's
perfect. Helps a lot. It's really nice to hear that. Neil, we've got the web dashboard, which you're familiar with, and we've got the dedicated mobile app as well. How has having data at your fingertips on a mobile app changed the way you possibly look at your business or conduct business? Has the mobile app helped you in any way?
Yeah, definitely. It's being able to just, I mean, I can check it in the morning when I get up. Like, you can check it just before I go to bed. If I'm not in the office for the day, I can tap on the app, see where we're at to. it helps massively. And again, it's not just oh, you've done this many sales today and that's it. There's a lot of other information in there, which gives you not just a good overview, but gives you the details if you want to have a little dive into, even when you're out and about as well. So it's definitely very helpful. Yeah.
Perfect. Just to plug in, we are just about to go live with product trends and BSR and sales ranking for individual products. So we're now able to help, and this is something going live hopefully this by this coming weekend. We're going live with data sets which will allow you to see when my optimal sales were happening. How much did I need to have in stock versus my ad spend versus the number of possibly positive reviews, and that silver bullet, that silver lining will be able to be unique to every product and every customer. That, okay, when I have these certain conditions, my sales go up, or when I have these conditions, my sales go down. So that's something that's really exciting. It's coming. Another thing that's been quite with a lot of our users and a lot of our customers has been the daily run rate. Do you monitor the daily run rate of your products and see the trend of going up or down? Does that help you influence, or does that influence you in maybe advertising campaigns or pausing campaigns or enhancing campaigns?
Yeah, so we actually use, obviously before we've only been with WhatSales for a few months now. Before we came across you guys, we've been using a purchasing software called Inventory Planner. Which is very good and allows us to it's very focused obviously on purchasing, but it's pretty good, and that has it gives us some of the information that we need to allow us to know when to purchase, what to purchase, quantities and all that kind of thing. But being able to use that in conjunction with the granular detail that WhatSales gives us it makes it even more powerful. So yeah,
really
I think purchasing is obviously one of the things that we're going to speak to you guys about for features going forward as well.
Absolutely, and just for the audience, Neil has been one of the major influences of so many features. You've got a great relationship with Usman, our CTO, as well. So it's great. We like to reach out to all of our customers and get their feedback. Neil, how has support been? Software is always tricky to deal with. Would you say that you've received adequate level support as a seller from a tech company, from a software provider? Have we lived up to your expectations?
I'd say you exceeded it, to be honest. I've worked with various software companies over the years. Most are reasonable and pretty decent. They do the sort of standard job. There's not many that are as customer focused as Linnworks, as accessible as you guys with WhatSales. Just being open to small changes that actually help use the software. I think there's a lot of software companies that kind of get stuck in their way a little bit and think don't listen to they sort of listen to the customers, but don't fully take on board and actually action the changes. Whereas obviously with WhatSales, we've suggested multiple things to you, which I know will help us massively. And if it helps us massively, I know it'll help other sellers as well. And they've pretty much all been actions, within a matter of weeks, and not just actioned well and properly. So it actually works how we want it to work. So it's quite a refreshing change, to be fair.
Fantastic. I'm sure our CTO will be happy to hear all of that. Neil, 2 questions for you. Have from not using WhatSales to using WhatSales, have we saved you time and effort?
Yeah, a lot. Great. I've been training one of the guys who works with me in the office here on some of the features of WhatSales, and we're going to be focusing on that a lot more here in the coming months, especially once we move into the new warehouse, so that we can actually utilize all of the features that WhatSales offers in more depth than we do now. But yeah, there's things on there that we haven't used yet which I know will benefit us, and I know will save us
Absolutely.
time and money, daily, weekly, yearly, moving forward. So yeah, it's going to be great once we can actually get it all incorporated.
No, absolutely. We've enabled for you product intelligence. That's something which we've had a lot of positive feedback on. So I definitely recommend that. It will definitely help you on your inventory side, knowing what to focus on, which listings need a bit of TLC, and which advertising campaigns aren't performing so well. So that's one area I'd highly recommend. Neil, my second question is, would you recommend WhatSales to other e-commerce sellers, being Linnworks customers or non-Linnworks customers? Would you recommend WhatSales, and why?
Without a doubt. I think for the price of the software, you'll save that and generate more 10, 20, 30 times over the top of the cost of it's kind of irrelevant. For what it gives you is powerful. It gives you back time. It will definitely help you save money and make money, which is what every seller wants. So yeah, I mean, anybody that looks at it, for me, it's a no-brainer not to incorporate it in your business. I can't see any reason why any business would look at it and wouldn't go ahead with it personally.
Neil, you're a star. Thank you so much for that. That means a lot. Your feature wish list, what would you like to see happening at WhatSales and at Linnworks?
Sure. Well, obviously, I'm quite vocal with you guys about features and trying to help, because I know obviously the vision you've got for WhatSales and where you want to take it to, and I know the things
global domination.
And I know the kind of features or tweaks to certain pages and things that can be done, which will help obviously help us massively. So yeah, we're really looking forward to obviously working with you guys on new features and tweaking existing features to get them working even better than they currently are moving forward, because obviously we know you guys listen, take on board what we say, and and put it into action, which is a refreshing change, and we're happy to work with you.
Neil, I can't thank you enough for your time. This has been fantastic. Thank you so much for taking part in the Linnworks and WhatSales case study sessions. And hopefully we'll be reconnecting again real soon. The audience, Neil Boxall. Thank you, Neil.
Lovely. Good to see you.